In the infinite expanse of space where stars dance their eternal waltz and civilizations rise and fall like cosmic tides, there exists a single human girl who carries the weight of humanity's legacy on her shoulders. This is the story of Kayla Matthews, the first and only human to walk the crystalline halls of the Interstellar Community Academy, where her very presence challenges everything her alien peers believe about survival, adaptation, and the true meaning of strength. 3 standard galactic cycles ago, when the Intergalactic Council finally approved Earth's petition to join the broader cosmic community, no one expected a 17-year-old girl from suburban Colorado to become humanity's first student ambassador. Yet here she stands, her soft human skin and rounded features marking her as distinctly different from the scaled, feathered, and crystalline beings who share her classes. The morning of her most crucial presentation began like any other in the Academy's artificial day cycle. Kayla woke to the gentle hum of her environmental chamber, a specialized room designed to maintain Earth-like conditions. Through her window, the twin purple suns of Centauri Prime painted the crystalline spires of the Academy in ethereal hues of lavender and gold. She touched the familiar locket around her neck, a parting gift from her mother, and took a deep breath of carefully filtered air. The Academy itself was a marvel of xeno-architecture, its structure constantly shifting to accommodate the diverse needs of its student body. Gravity plates adjusted automatically as Kayla walked the corridors, compensating for the different gravitational requirements of various species. Holographic signs flickered in 27 different languages, including Standard Earth English, while atmospheric barriers maintained distinct environmental bubbles for species that breathed everything from oxygen to methane. As she made her way to the presentation hall, Kayla's mind wandered to her first day at the Academy, 3 months earlier. She remembered the overwhelming sensation of being surrounded by beings so fundamentally different from herself. There was Zixtal, a hive-mind consciousness inhabiting 12 identical crystalline bodies, who had become one of her closest friends. Talara, a bioluminescent aquatic species who communicated through patterns of light and color, had initially mistaken Kayla's blushing for a form of communication and spent weeks trying to decode its meaning. Hey space explorers, if you're ready to dive deeper into this interstellar adventure, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and activate those notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next in this incredible journey across the cosmos. The night before her presentation had been a sleepless one. Kayla spent hours in the Academy's vast holographic library, a space that defied conventional physics. Data streams flowed like rivers of light around her as she reviewed Earth's history for the 1000th time. The library AI, affectionately nicknamed Alexandria by the students, projected 3-dimensional reconstructions of ancient human hunting parties, while Kayla rehearsed her speech. "You appear to be experiencing elevated cortisol levels," Alexandria had noted, its voice a soothing blend of harmonics designed to be pleasant to all known sentient species. "Would you like me to adjust the ambient lighting to promote relaxation?" But relaxation was the last thing on Kayla's mind. Tomorrow's presentation wasn't just another academic exercise. It was a chance to help her alien peers understand why humans, despite their apparent fragility, had survived and thrived on what they called a death world. Her preparation was interrupted by the soft crystalline chiming that indicated another student's presence. Zixtal's 12 bodies entered the library in perfect synchronization, their faceted surfaces reflecting the holographic light in mesmerizing patterns. "We sense your anxiety, Kayla Matthews," all 12 bodies spoke in harmony. "Perhaps you would benefit from understanding how our species handles information sharing." The offer touched her deeply. In the 3 months since her arrival, Zixtal had never shared details about their species' customs with anyone outside their hive mind. It was this moment that gave Kayla an idea that would transform her entire presentation approach. As the memory faded, Kayla found herself standing before the massive doors of the presentation hall. Unlike the standard classrooms, this space was designed to accommodate up to 500 students of varying sizes and environmental needs. Some would be suspended in anti-gravity fields, others submerged in specialized tanks, while still others would phase in and out of different dimensional states. The doors, sensing her biometric signature, parted with a whisper. Inside, the hall was already filling with students. A group of meridians, their gaseous forms contained within shimmering force fields, bobbed near the ceiling. The crystalline Athosians had arranged themselves in a perfect geometric pattern that somehow enhanced their collective consciousness. In the front row, a delegation of Aquarian students floated in their personal hydrospheres, their tentacles moving in gentle waves that betrayed their excitement. Professor Xtulu, a being of pure energy contained within an ancient robotic frame, floated at the center of the stage. As the Academy's leading xenoanthropologist, their opinion of Kayla's presentation would carry significant weight in how humanity was perceived by the next generation of intergalactic leaders. Kayla's fingers trembled slightly as she interfaced with the podium's neural link, a technology that would allow her thoughts to control the holographic displays. The familiar tingle of the connection spread through her consciousness, and she felt the vast database of Earth's history at her fingertips. "Distinguished faculty, honored classmates," she began, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Today I stand before you not just as a representative of humanity, but as living proof of what a species can become when shaped by adversity." The holographic system responded to her thoughts, filling the vast hall with a perfect recreation of Earth's African savanna at dawn. The twin purple suns of the Academy world were replaced by Earth's single yellow star, its light casting long shadows across the grassland. The alien students stirred in their various environmental containers, many experiencing Earth's landscape for the first time. 2 million years ago, on a planet you call a Deathworld, our ancestors faced a choice, Kayla continued. We weren't the strongest creatures in our environment. We didn't have natural weapons like claws or fangs. We couldn't fly, breathe underwater, or regenerate lost limbs. By all logical measures, we should have become extinct. But the hologram shifted, showing a group of early humans, their bodies lean and adapted for running. A Vexillian student, their crystalline form vibrating with curiosity, raised an appendage. "But how did you survive without natural defenses?" Kayla smiled, activating the next sequence. The hologram now showed a herd of antelope grazing peacefully. "We developed something unique in Earth's evolutionary history: persistence hunting." The scene began to play out, showing human hunters tracking their prey under the blazing sun. Professor Xtulu's energy form pulsed with interest, the ancient robotic frame leaning forward. The next 2 hours would change everything. Not just for Kayla, but for human-alien relations across the galaxy. If you're enjoying this incredible journey through space and time, hit that notification bell right now to join our cosmic community. Let's dive back into Kayla's extraordinary presentation. The holographic antelope bounded across the savannah, its movements precise and lifelike. The alien students watched, transfixed, as the human hunters followed at a steady pace. Hours passed in minutes within the simulation, showing how the hunters tracked their prey through the heat of the day. "Unlike most predators," Kayla explained, "we didn't rely on speed or strength. We used our unique biological advantages, our ability to sweat, our efficient bipedal movement, and, most importantly, our capacity for complex strategic thinking." The simulation showed the antelope's gradual exhaustion, its stops becoming more frequent, while the humans maintained their relentless pursuit. Several Meridian students drifted closer, their gaseous forms swirling with excitement. But persistence hunting was more than just a method of obtaining food, Kayla continued, her confidence growing. It shaped every aspect of human development. The hologram split into multiple scenes, showing the evolution of human social structures, tool use, and communication. Talara, the bioluminescent student, pulsed with patterns of blue and gold, their species' expression of deep fascination. "How did this hunting method influence your technological development?" Their words translated through the Academy's universal communicator. Kayla gestured, and the hologram transformed to show the progression of human technology. "Every tool we created, from the first stone spear to our modern spacecraft, came from the same mindset that made persistence hunting possible: the ability to identify a problem, develop a solution, and persistently work toward a goal." The presentation took an unexpected turn when Zixtal's 12 bodies moved in perfect synchronization to the front of the hall. "We request permission to share our perspective," they announced. "We have observed something remarkable about human persistence that relates to our own species' evolution." Professor Xtulu's energy form flickered with approval, and what followed was an unprecedented moment of interspecies connection that would be remembered for generations to come. Zixtal's 12 crystalline forms arranged themselves in a perfect dodecahedron, their surfaces reflecting the holographic light in mesmerizing patterns. Like humans, they began in harmonic unison. "Our species faced extinction on our homeworld, but while you adapted through persistence hunting, we survived through collective consciousness." The hologram shifted, now displaying split scenes, Earth's savannas alongside the crystalline plains of Zixtol's homeworld. The parallel was striking. Both species had turned their apparent weaknesses into extraordinary strengths. This is precisely why the study of different species is so crucial, Professor Cthulhu interjected, their energy form pulsing with scholarly excitement. Each survival strategy reveals something profound about the nature of life itself. Kayla felt a surge of inspiration. This was no longer just her presentation, it had evolved into something far more significant. "Let me show you something that might surprise you," she said, interfacing with the holographic system again. The display transformed to show human cities, but with a focus she hadn't planned. It showed humans helping each other, working together, caring for the sick and elderly. Persistence hunting taught us more than just how to track prey, she explained, her voice carrying a new confidence. It taught us the value of cooperation. Unlike solitary predators, humans hunted in groups. We shared our kills, we cared for our injured. This behavior laid the foundation for human civilization. The Aquarian students' tentacles waved in their hydrospheres, creating patterns that their translator rendered as expressions of deep understanding. One of them, a scholar named Maxloth, spoke through their aquatic translator. "So, your physical evolution and social evolution were intertwined?" "Exactly," Kayla responded, triggering a new series of holograms. "Every step we took across those ancient savannas was a step toward who we would become. Our endurance wasn't just physical, it was mental, emotional, and social." The presentation chamber hummed with energy as students from dozens of species began drawing connections to their own evolutionary histories. A Meridian student's gaseous form swirled with excitement as they shared how their species had evolved to ride solar winds, while a Draconian explained how their silicon-based biology adapted to extreme temperatures. Professor Xtolu's robotic frame moved to the center of the room, their energy form blazing brighter than usual. "In all my centuries of teaching xenoanthropology, I have never witnessed such a profound moment of interspecies understanding. Please continue. Kayla Matthews of Earth." If you're as fascinated by this interstellar exchange as we are, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Let's continue our journey through this remarkable presentation that's changing the way species understand each other. The holographic display shifted again, this time showing Earth's diverse ecosystems, from the scorching deserts to the frozen tundra. Our persistence hunting abilities allowed us to adapt to every environment on our planet, Kayla explained, her voice growing stronger with each word. "We learned to track prey across snow, desert sands, and dense forests. Each environment taught us something new." A synthoid student, their quantum processors humming softly, raised their hand. Query: how did humans maintain group cohesion across such diverse environments? Our historical data suggests most species specialize in specific biomes. Kayla smiled, triggering a new sequence of holograms showing human settlements across different climates. "That's where our greatest strength came into play, our ability to share knowledge across generations. We didn't just pass down hunting techniques, we shared stories, created art, and developed complex languages to ensure our survival strategies evolved with each new challenge." The chamber's atmosphere shifted as she displayed cave paintings, ancient hunting tools, and early human settlements. The alien students watched in fascination as the timeline progressed, showing how simple hunting parties evolved into complex societies. "But there's something even more remarkable," Caleb continued, her voice softening. "While persistence hunting shaped us into effective predators, it also taught us empathy. The hologram showed ancient humans tending to their wounded, sharing food and working together to survive." Talara's bioluminescent patterns shifted to deep purple, their species' expression of profound realization. "You're suggesting that the very trait that made humans dangerous predators also made them capable of compassion?" "Precisely," Kayla responded, triggering a new series of images. "To be successful persistence hunters, we had to understand our prey, their behaviors, their limitations, their suffering. This understanding eventually extended beyond hunting. We began to comprehend not just the physical but the emotional states of others." Professor Xtolu's energy form pulsed with an intensity that made their ancient robotic frame creak. "This is a crucial insight into human psychology. Please elaborate on how this empathetic understanding influenced your species' development." The holographic display transformed into a series of scenes showing early human communities gathering around fires, sharing stories and teaching their young. Our empathy became our greatest innovation, Kayla continued, her voice carrying across the chamber. While other predators evolved sharper claws or stronger jaws, we evolved the ability to understand and connect with others. The quantum collective representative, their form shifting between multiple probability states, manifested closer to the presentation area. We observe a paradox, they stated, their voice resonating in multiple frequencies. Your species developed the capacity for both extreme persistence in hunting and deep emotional connection. How did these seemingly opposing traits coexist? Kayla gestured, and the hologram showed a split screen, one side displaying hunters tracking prey, the other showing those same hunters sharing their kill with their tribe. These traits weren't opposing, they were complementary. The same determination that allowed us to track prey for days also made us persistent in caring for our sick and elderly. The stamina that helped us chase animals also helped us carry our wounded back to safety. The chamber fell silent as she triggered a new sequence, showing human medical practices evolving from basic wound care to modern surgery. Our understanding of anatomy, gained through hunting, led to healing practices. Our tracking skills taught us to read not just animal signs, but also symptoms of illness. Every skill we developed for survival became a foundation for compassion. Professor Xtulu's energy form pulsed with such intensity that several students had to adjust their optical senses. In all my centuries studying sentient species, I've never considered this connection between predatory evolution and emotional development. Continue, Ms. Matthews. The hologram shifted to show modern human cities alongside ancient hunting grounds. As we evolved, our persistence hunting instincts didn't disappear, they transformed. The same drive that kept our ancestors running across the savannah now pushes us to explore space, cure diseases, and solve complex problems. We still chase our goals with the same relentless determination that once helped us chase prey. The presentation chamber hummed with a new energy as students from across the galaxy processed this revelation. A crystalline elder, their faceted body refracting light in complex patterns, raised what appeared to be an appendage. Human, they chimed, their voice resonating through the chamber like musical notes. Your species' evolution suggests something profound about the nature of intelligence itself. Perhaps true sentience requires not just the ability to pursue, but also the wisdom to know when to stop. Kayla nodded, triggering a new holographic sequence that filled the chamber with scenes from Earth's environmental history. The images showed both destruction and restoration, species lost and saved, wilderness consumed and protected. Our hunting instincts taught us another crucial lesson, she explained, her voice carrying a note of solemnity. Just as our ancestors learned to read the signs of depleting prey populations, we had to learn to recognize when our pursuit of progress threatened the very world that shaped us. The hologram shifted to show modern conservation efforts, rewilding projects, and sustainable technologies. Several aquatic students pressed their tentacles against their hydrospheres, their translator indicating deep emotional resonance with the concept of environmental stewardship. But perhaps the most important lesson we learned from persistence hunting, Kayla continued, was that survival isn't always about being the strongest or the fastest. Sometimes it's about being the ones who never give up, who keep going when others would stop, who learn from each failure and try again. Professor Xtulu's energy form pulsed with an intensity that suggested deep contemplation. Ms. Matthews, would you say this persistence has influenced your species' approach to interstellar relations? The question opened a new dimension to the presentation. Kayla interfaced with the holographic system once more, displaying humanity's first tentative steps into space, alongside their current efforts to join the galactic community. The holographic display transformed to show Earth's first space missions, from primitive rockets to modern starships. The alien students watched in fascination as decades of human space exploration unfolded before them, each failure followed by renewed determination. Just like our ancestors who tracked prey across vast distances, we pursued the stars with unwavering determination, Kayla explained. When our rockets failed, we built better ones. When disasters struck, we learned from them. When the void of space seemed too vast to cross, we persisted. The image shifted to show the first contact between humans and alien civilizations. It hadn't been the dramatic encounter many humans had imagined. Instead, it began with a simple radio signal detected by an automated outpost near Alpha Centauri, followed by years of careful diplomatic negotiations. Our entry into the galactic community wasn't immediate, Kayla continued, as the hologram showed the lengthy process of Earth's integration. Many species were understandably concerned about welcoming beings from a Deathworld. But just as our ancestors didn't give up during a hunt when the trail grew cold, we didn't give up on proving ourselves worthy of joining you. Zixtal's 12 bodies moved in perfect synchronization, creating a complex geometric pattern. We remember the debates in the Galactic Council. They harmonized. Many argued that humans were too unpredictable, too dangerous, yet here you stand, proving that persistence can lead to peace, as surely as it once led to prey. The hologram now showed current scenes from Earth, cities where humans and alien visitors coexisted, research facilities where different species collaborated, and schools where children learned about their place in a vast cosmic community. Today, we use our persistence for different kinds of hunts, Kayla said, her voice strong with conviction. We hunt for knowledge, for understanding, for ways to contribute to galactic society. The same determination that once helped us track animals across the savannah now drives us to solve interstellar challenges. Professor Xthulu's energy form brightened noticeably. And what of the future, Ms. Matthews? How will this trait of persistence shape humanity's role in the galaxy? Kayla took a deep breath, interfacing once more with the holographic system. The chamber filled with speculative projections of future human-alien collaborations, massive engineering projects, environmental restoration efforts across multiple worlds, and deep space exploration missions. The future, she began, her voice carrying both hope and determination, lies in understanding how our unique evolutionary traits can complement those of other species. Our persistence, combined with the diverse abilities represented in this room alone, could help us tackle challenges no single species could solve alone. The hologram zoomed in on a specific project, the restoration of a dying star system, where multiple species had worked together to save billions of lives. Humans had contributed their relentless problem-solving abilities, working alongside beings who could manipulate gravity, process vast amounts of data through collective consciousness, and survive in extreme conditions. Consider the Proximia Initiative, Kayla continued, referencing a recent crisis where a solar storm threatened an entire sector. Humans worked for months without giving up, alongside meridian energy manipulators and quantum collective probability analysts. Our persistence complemented their unique abilities, leading to a solution no one thought possible. A temporal observer, their form shifting between past and future states, manifested near the front. We have witnessed multiple timeline variations, they stated, their voice echoing from several temporal positions simultaneously. Those where humans contribute their persistence trait to galactic society show significantly improved outcomes for all species. The hologram shifted again, showing the current class of the Interstellar Community Academy, students from hundreds of species, each with their own evolutionary advantages, working together to understand the cosmos. This, Caleb gestured to the image, is the ultimate expression of what persistence hunting taught us. Just as our ancestors worked together to track prey across vast distances, we now work together across vast cosmic distances. The hunt has changed, but the fundamental lessons remain the same. Success comes to those who persist, who adapt, and who understand the value of cooperation. Professor Xthulu's energy form pulsed with an intensity that suggested deep approval. Ms. Matthews, you have demonstrated something remarkable today, not just about human evolution, but about the very nature of interspecies cooperation. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien expressions of approval, from the crystalline chiming of the Athosians to the bioluminescent bursts of the aquatic species. Even the typically stoic quantum collectives showed signs of emotional response, their probability fields fluctuating with unprecedented patterns. But there's one more aspect of persistence hunting that I believe is crucial to our future in the galactic community, Kayla said, her voice steady despite the overwhelming response. The hologram shifted to show a complex web of interconnected species, resources, and environments. Our ancestors learned to read not just their prey, but entire ecosystems. They understood that every action had consequences, that every hunt affected the delicate balance of life. The display transformed to show current galactic trade routes, diplomatic relationships, and collaborative scientific projects. Today, we apply that same holistic understanding to our role in the galaxy. We recognize that we're part of something far larger than ourselves, just as our ancestors recognized they were part of Earth's greater ecosystem. A hive mind collective representative, their 1,000 tiny components swirling in intricate patterns, moved forward. We observe parallels between human persistence hunting and our own evolution of collective consciousness. Both required an understanding of patterns, patience, and the ability to work toward distant goals. The hologram responded to Kayla's thoughts, showing side-by-side comparisons of different species' evolutionary strategies. Exactly, she agreed. Each of our species developed unique solutions to survival challenges. The true power lies not in any single adaptation, but in how we can combine these different approaches to face new challenges. Professor Xthulu's ancient robotic frame creaked as they moved to the center of the chamber. Ms. Matthews, your presentation has done more than explain human evolution. You've provided a framework for understanding how different evolutionary strategies can complement each other in our modern galactic society. The holographic display began showing real-time data from various collaborative projects across the galaxy, environmental restoration efforts, deep space exploration missions, and scientific research that combined the unique abilities of multiple species. Each project demonstrated how human persistence, combined with other species' capabilities, was helping to solve problems that once seemed insurmountable. The chamber's atmosphere shifted as Kayla prepared to conclude her presentation. The holographic display now showed a real-time map of the galaxy, with countless points of light representing different species, civilizations, and collaborative projects. As I stand here today, Kayla said, her voice carrying new confidence, I'm reminded of something my grandmother once told me about our ancestors. She said that at the end of every successful hunt, the hunters would honor their prey by sharing stories of the chase, celebrating not just the outcome, but the journey itself. The hologram responded to her thoughts, showing scenes from her own journey, her arrival at the academy 3 months ago, the challenges she'd faced, the friendships she'd formed. Several students shifted uncomfortably as they recognized themselves in earlier interactions with her, their initial prejudices about humans now transformed into respect. Today, we're no longer tracking prey across savannas, she continued, but we are still hunting. We hunt for knowledge, for understanding, for ways to make our galaxy a better place for all species, and just like our ancestors, we must honor this journey by sharing what we learn. Professor Xthulu's energy form pulsed with an intensity that made the chamber's environmental systems flicker. In all my centuries of teaching, they announced, their voice resonating through the universal translator, I have never witnessed a presentation that so effectively bridged the gap between species. Ms. Matthews has demonstrated not just the value of human persistence, but the importance of understanding different evolutionary perspectives. The quantum collective representatives began calculating probability streams, their forms shifting rapidly. We project a 97.3% increase in positive interspecies interactions following the dissemination of this presentation, they announced, in their characteristic multi-layered voice. Zixtol's 12 bodies moved forward in perfect synchronization. We propose, they harmonized, that this presentation be added to the permanent curriculum of the Interstellar Community Academy. The insights shared today are crucial for future generations of all species. The chamber erupted in a chorus of agreement, expressed in dozens of different ways. Bioluminescent flashes, crystalline resonances, quantum fluctuations, and more traditional vocalizations. The universal translators worked overtime to process the overwhelming response. If you're loving this interstellar journey, smash that like button and leave a comment telling us about your favorite moments so far. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on those notifications to catch more amazing stories from across the galaxy. The aftermath of Kayla's presentation rippled through the academy like a quantum wave. Within hours, the central data hub was flooded with requests from students and faculty alike, all seeking access to the presentation archives. Species that had never before shown interest in human studies were suddenly organizing discussion groups and research projects. In her private environmental chamber that evening, Kayla sat surrounded by holographic messages from across the galaxy. Her presentation had been transmitted live to various academic institutions, and the responses were overwhelming. Even the notoriously reclusive Silicon Consciousness Collective had emerged from their quantum processors to express interest in human persistence patterns. Your presentation has catalyzed something unprecedented, Professor Xthulu's energy form announced during an unexpected visit to her chamber. Their ancient robotic frame hummed with barely contained excitement. The Galactic Educational Council has requested an emergency session to discuss implementing human evolutionary studies across all major academic institutions. Kayla touched the locket around her neck, thinking of her family back on Earth. I never expected this level of response, she admitted, watching as another cluster of message crystals materialized in her communication hub. I just wanted them to understand us better. Understanding, the professor's energy form pulsed thoughtfully, is perhaps the most powerful force in the universe, more powerful than gravity, more transformative than stellar fusion. What you've done today goes beyond mere academic achievement. The professor's robotic frame projected a holographic display showing real-time reactions from across the academy. In the quantum physics lab, a group of crystalline students were already developing new theoretical models based on human persistence patterns. The xenobiology department had launched an emergency symposium to re-examine their understanding of evolutionary adaptations. The academy's central garden, a massive biodome designed to accommodate multiple species' environmental needs, had become an impromptu gathering place for students eager to discuss the presentation. Caleb observed from a distance as beings from across the galaxy engaged in animated discussions about human evolution and its implications for interspecies cooperation. Preet Lara, their bioluminescent patterns shifting through shades of excited blue and gold, approached Kayla. "Your presentation has changed everything," they communicated through patterns of light. The Aquarian Collective has already proposed a joint research project combining our deep-sea navigation abilities with human persistence tracking methods. The garden's atmospheric barriers shifted automatically as a group of Meridian students floated closer, their gaseous forms swirling with curiosity. "We have been analyzing the parallels between human persistence hunting and our own species' solar wind riding techniques," they transmitted through the universal translator. "The psychological similarities are fascinating." Zixthol's 12 bodies arranged themselves in a learning circle, a traditional formation used by their species for important discussions. "We request permission to share something unprecedented," they harmonized. "Our hive mind has voted unanimously to open our historical archives to human researchers. This is the first time in our species' history that we have granted such access to any non-crystalline beings." Professor Xthulu's energy form pulsed with approval as they observed these interactions. Their ancient robotic frame projected data streams showing similar discussions happening in academy branches across the galaxy. "Ms. Matthews," they announced, "the Academy Council has made a decision. We would like you to develop a comprehensive curriculum on human evolutionary strategies and their applications to interspecies cooperation." The biodome's environmental systems hummed softly as Kayla processed this request. Around her, students from dozens of species continued their animated discussions, each finding unique connections between their own evolutionary histories and humanity's journey. The Academy's central computer system chimed softly, announcing an incoming transmission from Earth. The holographic display materialized in the center of the biodome, showing the face of Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's representative to the Galactic Educational Council. "Kayla," Dr. Chen's holographic form smiled warmly. "Your presentation has reached far beyond the Academy. The Council has received formal requests from 17 different species for educational exchange programs with Earth. They want to study human persistence strategies firsthand." The news sent ripples of excitement through the gathered students. A quantum collective representative shifted through multiple probability states before stabilizing. "We calculate that this marks a significant turning point in galactic social evolution," they announced, their voice resonating across multiple frequencies. Professor Xtolu's energy form brightened noticeably. "Perhaps, Ms. Matthews, you would be interested in knowing what happened in the council chamber when your presentation was broadcast." Their ancient robotic frame projected a new hologram, showing the council's reaction. The scene showed representatives from hundreds of species, their attention fixed on Kayla's presentation. The moment she had explained how persistence hunting had shaped human empathy, the typically stoic draconians had activated their ancestral memory crystals, a gesture of highest respect in their culture. "The Council has proposed establishing a new department," Professor Xthulu continued, "the Institute for Evolutionary Cooperation Studies. They want you to be part of its founding team." Kayla felt the weight of this moment as she looked around the biodome. Species that had once viewed humans with suspicion or curiosity were now engaging in earnest discussions about collaborative projects. The Meridian students were already drafting proposals for joint space exploration missions, while the Crystalline Collective was developing new communication protocols based on human persistence patterns. The biodome's atmospheric processes hummed as they adjusted to accommodate a new group of arriving students. The temporal observers, rarely seen outside their quantum time chambers, had manifested to share their insights. "We have observed multiple timeline variations," their spokesman announced, their form shifting between past and future states. "In all successful futures, this moment serves as a catalyst for unprecedented galactic cooperation." Kayla watched as holographic displays around the biodome showed real-time updates from across the galaxy. The Andromeda Science Academy had already begun incorporating human persistence studies into their xenobiology curriculum. The Sirius Institute of Advanced Studies was restructuring its entire approach to interspecies education. "There's something else you should see," Professor Xthulhu said, their energy form pulsing with what seemed like pride. The holographic display shifted to show Earth's major cities, where alien visitors were gathering in unprecedented numbers. Species that had previously avoided Earth due to its Deathworld classification were now requesting permission to study human culture firsthand. In New Delhi, a group of crystalline scholars was observing a marathon, fascinated by the physical manifestation of human persistence. In Tokyo, Meridian scientists floated alongside human engineers, combining their understanding of solar winds with humanity's endurance-based problem-solving approaches. The Amazon Research Center had welcomed its first delegation of aquarian biologists, eager to study how human tracking methods could be applied to ecosystem preservation. This presentation didn't just change how they see humans, Tilara communicated through patterns of bioluminescence. It changed how we see ourselves and our place in the galaxy. One standard galactic month after Kayla's presentation, the Interstellar Community Academy had undergone a profound transformation. The once rigid species segregation in classrooms had given way to intentionally mixed study groups, with students actively seeking out those most different from themselves. The Academy's central archive now housed a new wing dedicated to convergent evolution studies, where Kayla's presentation served as the cornerstone of a growing database. Holographic displays showed how different species' survival strategies complemented each other, with human persistence hunting patterns being mapped against everything from meridian solar navigation to crystalline hive mind adaptation. "The statistical impact is unprecedented," announced the Quantum Collective during an Academy webbed assembly. "Interspecies collaboration projects have increased by 312%. Research efficiency has improved by 278% when human persistence methodologies are applied. Most significantly, cultural understanding indices have reached their highest levels in recorded galactic history." Professor Xthulhu's ancient frame creaked as they displayed the latest data from the Galactic Council. 17 new joint research initiatives have been launched, they announced, their energy form pulsing with excitement. The Draconians have opened their sacred archives for the first time in 10,000 years. The Silicon consciousness has emerged from their quantum isolation to propose collaborative projects. Perhaps most remarkably, the term Deathworld had begun to fade from academic discourse. Earth was now increasingly referred to as a Crucible World, a place where extreme conditions had forged unique adaptations worthy of study and admiration. The Academy's recruitment patterns had shifted dramatically. Applications from previously underrepresented species flooded in, each eager to be part of this new era of interspecies education. The waiting list for Earth Studies courses had grown so long that the Academy had to develop quantum discontended classrooms to accommodate the demand. "We are witnessing the emergence of a new galactic paradigm," Professor Xthulhu declared, their energy form brightening. "One where diversity of evolution is not just acknowledged, but celebrated as essential for our collective future." As Kayla watched these changes unfold from her environmental chamber, she received a message that would mark yet another turning point. The Galactic Educational Council had unanimously voted to establish the Matthews Protocol, a new framework for interspecies education that would be implemented across all major academic institutions in known space. In the soft glow of Earth's sunset, visible through the Academy's quantum viewport, Kayla stood before a new batch of students. 1 year had passed since her presentation, and the chamber now held 3 times the original number of species, including some that had never before sent students off their homeworlds. "When I first arrived at this academy," she began, her voice carrying across environmental barriers and translation fields, "I was the only human student. Today, I look around this chamber and see not just 12 other humans, but representatives from over 300 species. All here because they understand something profound. Our differences are not barriers, but bridges." The holographic display behind her showed scenes from the past year, Meridian and human scientists collaborating on new space exploration techniques. crystalline scholars incorporating human persistence patterns into their hive mind protocols, Aquarian researchers adapting human tracking methods to map ocean currents across 1,000 worlds. Professor Extahulu, recently appointed as head of Convergent Evolution Studies, moved their ancient frame forward. The Matthews Protocol has been implemented in over 10,000 educational institutions, they announced, their energy form pulsing with pride. The results have exceeded even the quantum collective's most optimistic projections. The statistics spoke for themselves. Interspecies conflicts had decreased by 89%. Collaborative research projects had yielded breakthroughs in everything from faster-than-light travel to ecosystem restoration. The term Deathworld had been officially retired from academic nomenclature, replaced by a new classification system that recognized the value of evolutionary challenges. But perhaps the most significant change was visible in the everyday life of the Academy. In the biodomes and study halls, in the research laboratories and quantum computing centers, beings from across the galaxy now worked together with a deeper understanding of each other's strengths and adaptations. As Kayla concluded her orientation speech to the new students, she touched the locket around her neck, the same one she'd worn during that first presentation. Inside was a small hologram of Earth's African savanna, a reminder of where humanity's journey began. Our ancestors chased their prey across vast distances, she said, her voice soft but carrying the weight of universal truth, never knowing that their persistence would one day help their descendants chase dreams across the stars. Whatever world you come from, whatever evolutionary path shaped you, remember this. In the vast tapestry of cosmic life, every thread is essential, every adaptation valuable, every journey worth understanding. The chamber hummed with the collective response of hundreds of species, each expressing agreement in their own unique way, as the twin purple suns of Centauri Prime set beyond the crystalline spires of the Academy. Kayla knew that this was just the beginning of an even greater journey, one that all species would take together, step by persistent step, across the infinite expanse of space and understanding. Hey cosmic explorers, what an incredible journey we've shared together. If this story about human persistence and interstellar unity resonated with you, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. Your support helps us bring more amazing stories from across the galaxy to your screens. Want to join our growing community of space enthusiasts? Drop a comment below sharing what fascinated you most about Kayla's journey and the impact of human persistence on the galaxy. Was it the transformation of the Academy, the Matthews Protocol, or perhaps the beautiful unity of different species coming together? Make sure to turn on those notification bells so you don't miss our next exciting adventure into the cosmos. We'll be exploring more fascinating stories about how different species shape our vast universe. Until our next cosmic encounter, keep looking up, keep persisting, and remember, in the grand tapestry of space, every species has a story worth telling. See you among the stars.